Natalie and welcome back to my channel. This week I finally got around to doing a tutorial on how I do the 5-strand Dutch braid. I learned this technique from Abby Smith from Twist Me Pretty. This technique is more about how you hold your hands and how you weave your fingers through the hair so that you can grab onto the strands properly and have them separated at all times. You should definitely give yourself a chance to get a hang of it, because once you do, this will definitely be one of your easiest and favorite braids ever. If you like this tutorial, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Now let's go ahead and begin. Before I start with the tutorial, I would like to mention that I use the Sambia texturizing iron to crimp my hair. I really love this method for getting really full, voluminous braids. I like to start by parting a U-shaped section on the top of my head, and then I like to glide my 4 fingers from the top to the back through the hair and grab onto it, and then automatically it separates that section into 5 strands. Starting from the left, I grab onto the leftmost strand, so it's kind of out of the equation for now. Then I'm gonna take my ring finger and weave it underneath the first strand and over the second one. And then I'll take my middle finger and place it over these 2 strands, so it will meet my ring finger and lock in that section. Then I'll take my index finger and weave it under the 3rd strand and over the 4th one. So now that 3rd strand, the second from the right, is going to be the one I grab while I weave my fingers from the right side. But first, I'll incorporate new hair from the side into the strand that I'm holding between my index finger and my middle finger. And you'll do this from both sides. So now I'll grab onto that strand I was holding with my thumb there. And I'll take my right ring finger and weave it under and over. Then I'll place the middle finger right onto there to lock that section, and I'll take my index finger and weave it under and over as well, and I'll add an additional hair to the strand that I'm holding between my index finger and my middle finger before I start repeating. So one more time before I speed things up, I grab the leftmost strand, ring finger goes under and over. Then you put your middle finger over there to lock in that section, and then index finger goes under and over. You can hold on to the rightmost strand with your thumb while you incorporate hair from the side into the strand that you're holding between your index finger and your middle finger. And you repeat the same thing from the right side. Ring finger under and over. Then lock that in with the middle finger, placing it over there. Grab onto those sections, take your index finger under and over. So now add in a new section from the left into the strand between your index and middle finger, and start from the beginning, repeating these same steps all the way until you get down. I think this might look more confusing than it really is when you're feeling it, because once you know how to weave your fingers through the strands, you don't really have to pay much attention to it. It really goes automatically and you don't need to use mirrors. In fact, it might be more confusing if you do. I only use mirrors to sort of smooth out the sides that I incorporate into the braid, because otherwise I tend to get bulks. The beauty is this technique works exactly the same if you're braiding someone else's hair. You hold your hands exactly the same as you do on yourself. It's okay to reach underneath and smooth out certain strands, but never ever let go of the position that your hand is in and where your fingers are, because that is what separates the strands properly. And if you start changing things, then you might lose track of everything. Once I reached the nape of my neck, I tied the braid with an elastic into a ponytail. You can continue with the same technique without adding in any extra hair if your hair is longer. Then I pulled the braid apart for even more volume. Because I don't like the way my short ponytail looks when the hair is texturized, it's a bit stiff, so I prefer to pull it into a bun and pin in place with bobby pins. I know you're not supposed to open the bobby pins, but when I get a layer poking out of my braid, I like to open the bobby pin and place the tip in the bobby pin and then stick it in. And this is the finished result. I hope you like it. Thank you so much for watching and for spending some time with me. I really appreciate it. I hope you liked this tutorial and that you found it helpful. And I certainly hope that you will give this braid a try and let me know what you think in the comments below. If you did enjoy this tutorial, thumbs up and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any future ones. And I'll see you next time. Bye! This is a micro crimper. It gives your hair this kind of texture, but it's not too obvious, so you don't see from a distance immediately that your hair is like in zigzag. It gives you the triple volume of what you would normally have. So you just need to pull on the braids a little for them to be like really poofy and voluminous. I really love that. And another thing I love about using this, although I'm not a fan of using heat during the summer, I sometimes do this and then I don't have to wash my hair for like 3 days. Yep, I'm a little lazy. Because of this texture that the hair has, it doesn't look very oily even on the second or third day. I find that I don't even need to use a dry shampoo when my hair is textured. Another thing I'd like to mention is always proceed with caution. For example, I use the low temperature setting. It has the low temperature setting that I'm using. Also, it has color treated hair and high. But I think personally that the low temperature feels very hot when I hold the iron here. I think it might be because I ordered this from the States and I'm using it in Europe, and I think there is a different voltage system here. I need a little transformer thingy to be able to plug it in and use it. This is probably meant for the United States and not maybe in Europe, so maybe that's why the low temperature setting feels very high, feels very hot. So always proceed with caution. In case you're living in Europe and thinking of ordering these from the United States, you might want to keep in mind that you'll need to be cautious with the temperatures. What I do is I separate sections from the bottom and then go gradually higher up. And when you take a section, you like lock the iron, release, and then you go below, lock and release, lock and... So I literally hold it like that. And then I let it go, because I feel that's enough for my hair to kind of get the shape that it needs. So always proceed with caution. I cannot stress that enough. Always start at the lowest setting, and then if it does not work for you, then probably you need to up the temperature. It's always easier to up the temperature than burn your hair off.